This is Jennifer Bankston interviewing Carol Kilman on January 5th, 2014 over President Kennedy's assassination. So my first question for you is, how old were you at the time?
I was a junior in high school, so I was 16, 17, not exactly sure.
Okay. Where were you at the time when the president was assassinated?
I actually was at home, ill, and I was watching the procession of President Kennedy in Dallas on television. So I saw the televised version, or I saw it happening on TV as it happened.
Okay. Did you live in the area?
No, I lived in Victoria, Texas. And the first thing that I did was run to the telephone and call my mother, who was a secretary for an attorney there in Victoria, and she understandably was extremely upset when I told her what had just happened.
Okay. At the time, was it clear that Kennedy was wanting to run again?
Yes, it was very clear, at least to my family and the people that my parents knew were all very favorable towards President Kennedy running for a second term.
Okay. Was it public knowledge at the time that there was extremists in the Dallas area?
I don't know that I would say just the Dallas area, but there were extremists everywhere that were upset about the war and the military and the things that were going on at the time. And I don't think the American people were as aware as we became aware that day. I think it was a very shocking experience for all of us.
Okay. Was it also known that an ambassador for the United States had been attacked in the Dallas area at the time?
I don't remember any of that type of information. I mean, I don't remember.
Okay.
It's been too long ago. I don't remember that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Was it released to the public that Oswald was not originally arrested for the assassination of the president?
I think from the very beginning, everybody was so stunned and they had no idea what had happened. They knew where the shots had come from. It did eventually unfold who had done the shooting, and his arrest and everything was shown on TV. And the ensuing murder of him by
A nightclub owner.
yeah, someone else. Ruby, I think. Wasn't it Ruby?
I think that might have been his last name.
Yeah, but yeah, his last name. Maybe not. I don't remember. But anyway.
Was it also released that Oswald was an employee at the time at the Texas School Book
Yes, postal. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was known to be. I believe it was released. I don't see now. I'm confused because they've just had a lot of that on TV. So now I don't know.
A lot of information has just been released to the public from that was gathered from back then, but is now released.
Yes, I know it now, but whether or not I don't remember whether or not it would. I don't, to my knowledge, I don't remember. I know that we have just recently had a lot of documentaries on TV about that information, and a lot of detailed information that has just recently been released.
Okay. What was your thoughts on the funeral being broadcasted?
I think that that was one of those moments when America was bound together, and that it was a way for us all to feel and to express our pain that we were all suffering at the time. So yes, I think it was I think it was necessary.
I think it was appropriate.
Yes.
You okay? Okay.
Mm.
Were you one of the millions that watched the funeral at home?
Every second. Yes, I was. So was my entire family. My entire family did, yes.
Okay. What were your thoughts on the House Select Committee on Assassinations, which was an act that was passed after?
I guess I don't have any information on that. I don't know. What does the bill say?
It's to investigate assassinations. Like, they looked into Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination as well, and they gather information.
Well, I think it's necessary. Absolutely.
Okay. Are you aware that in 1992 they passed the John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act, which called for all of the materials over JFK's assassination to be collected underneath one roof?
No, but I think that's a wonderful idea. I know that according to the documentaries that we just saw recently, they just found information that had not been seen in many, many years. So I think it's a good idea to get it all under one location.
Now, would one of those, one of that new information that's been released, would that be a homemade video that was taken from...
That was one of the things, and then there was also some of the handwritten notes by a newspaper reporter that was there at the time, and he had written down his own individual notes, and those had been filed away in a file that had been relocated. That was just on TV not very long ago.
That's cool. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's sad, but I mean that's
Right.
cool that information has come up.
Right, and it was just found in a box of records in that particular office, or I don't really know, but it was real interesting because it was all his personal notes of that day, of when he was there.
From like standing off on the side with the crowd.
Right. All of his personal observations that he had made.
Wow. Lost for years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay, the next question is, what were some of the conspiracies that were said during this time? Because there's like a bunch of conspiracies over assassinations, and there's multiple conspiracies over JFK's assassination.
Right, you know, I you know what, I don't know.
No? You didn't pay attention to them?
Well, I did, but they're all kind of jumbled together, so I'm not very knowledgeable on that. I'm sorry, dear.
No, neither am I. I just wanted to see if you knew any.
Well, you know, I can think of some, but I don't know if it's all just hearsay or, you know.
Yeah.
It's always so easy to point the finger at the Soviets or point the fingers at the Cuban crisis and all of that kind of stuff, and whether he was against the war and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I don't remember. Or if it was a racial thing, or there was a big to-do about him being a Catholic at the time, and so, you know, there's a whole bunch of different things that people talked about, but I don't know.
Okay. Here's a question that's follow up that one. Have you heard any new ones? New conspiracy theories? Or...
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
He was just a very disturbed young man who was very unhappy with his life, and I don't know. I don't know.
What was your response to Abraham Zapper's home video? He was a young man who lived across the street from where the parade was coming through, and he had just got a new video camera, and he wanted to catch the president. And he catches the,
There's something that's just been released.
it was, on the article that I found on it, it was released 12 years after the assassination, and it caught the killing blow.
Oh, well, that's probably the one that we've seen over and over and over again. Is that the one where the president's wife, or the senator, crawls over the back seat into the front seat to the president?
I'm not sure. The one, this video shows him turning around the bank, and he passes this billboard, and he's already been hit in the shoulder, or in the neck area, and he's leaning towards,
Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then the blow in the head.
And then the blow in the head.
I don't know that I've seen that. I probably have, but...
Okay.
I'm not so sure that we need to see the graphic details.
No.
It was hard enough
Watching it.
watching what we saw, yeah.
Okay, so I know you haven't seen the video, but hearing about it, what do you think the people in the United States felt when they found out that this video had been hidden from the collections for almost 12 years?
I think that's sad because it probably could have helped come to some conclusions sooner, because it could have given them more information, especially now in this day and age with our knowledge of forensic science and that type of thing. Probably could have helped a lot. And I don't know, proving exactly where the shot came from and who fired it and whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, the more knowledge is always a powerful thing. So the more knowledge we have, the more information that can be gleaned from.
So many doors can be opened and so many
Right.
questions answered.
Right.
Okay. Here's my last question for you. What were some of your thoughts and feelings when Oswald was killed?
I think the way I felt, that was Jack Ruby, I believe, that killed him. I felt, now we'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll never know why. We'll never truly know what was the young man's reasoning for doing what he did. So therefore the mystery is going to always be there. We can guess and we can try and make a guess, but we'll never really understand why. And I'm almost sure that's what I thought, because I also saw that happen, because he was escorting him, the police were escorting him out.
From county, I guess a county jail to
and
maximum.
I remember thinking, now we'll never know. Oh my gosh, now we'll never know. I mean, we can make all kinds of guesses and assumptions, but from what we had gleaned from the young man's life, he was off to himself a lot. He was unhappy, and we really don't know why he took these type of drastic measures. And I remember thinking, now we'll never know.
Okay, I know I said the last one was the last question.
It's okay.
Now, from one of the articles I have read, they said that Oswald was found on the 6th floor in the Texas
Depository.
Yeah. School book depository. And he was very into Cuba. He was very obsessed with Cuba. So
That's what I was talking about, the Cuban crisis. Yes.
And if I read it right, it said he didn't want our relationship with Cuba to vanish or be complete
jeopardized.
Yeah, jeopardized.
That's why I mentioned that earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the Cuban crisis, because that was really big at the time. I don't know what the young man's ties to Cuba were. I don't know if he was, I don't know. But I know that that was one of the many things that President Kennedy had on his plate at the time, and one of the many things that he was having to deal with. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's why the young man did it. Like I said, we'll never know.
Never know. Well, thank you for your time. And
I'm sorry I wasn't as knowledgeable. You're a very knowledgeable young lady.
it's okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking my questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.